Ladies and gentlemen, this is the second part on WWE 2K22 GMO, and this one is how to book the perfect matches for your GMO. Now, before this one starts, if you do go on to enjoy this video, make sure to like and sub and turn on notifications. Try to hit 8K subs by I don't know when. So yeah, if you enjoy the 2K22 content, make sure to sub. All right, so let's get into it. Now, I did another GM mode for this video purposely, so you guys can see right now my beginner roster. I have Roman Reigns, Cesaro, Samoa Joe, Kushida, Drew Gulak, Fandango. Now again, if you want to watch the how to draft, I basically go into how I did everything. Now my first feud is going to be Roman, and I think it's Samoa Joe. Then I'll do Cesaro, then Fandango as an undercard. And for my females, well, I did put Roman Reigns as my champ. And for the females, I have Asuka, Belair, Shayna, Bayley, Lacey Evans, and Lana. So Asuka will be facing Shayna Baszler, and then Bianca will be facing Lacey Evans. That's the undercard I was going to do, but at the end I didn't really do it because the plans change, and it's all good. So for the first few weeks, these are the easiest weeks to do in my gym. Now the gameplay won't be synced up. I'll just be showing some clips. I'll be explaining what I do personally and how I get to WrestleMania. Now, this one's a 15-week, purposely for this video. You can do 50 weeks, you can do 25 weeks. I wish you could change it to like 20, but that wouldn't make sense. It would be pay-per-views. Anyways, it doesn't matter how many weeks you do. So this will still be good for you to learn how to book all your shows. Now, once you're in the first show, you want to usually do some call outs. That's what I do. I call out the challenger to the champ. So for example, Roman, so someone will call out Roman, which is Samoa Joe. So Samoa Joe calls out Roman, and yada yada yada. Same for the females. You can also do a interference. I would suggest for starting rivalries, either you want to do a call out, and the call out, the one that calls out your superstar usually is a challenger, or the person has the more stamina, so you don't waste too much stamina. It does take some stamina, so make sure your superstars has quite a lot of stamina. If not, they'll be at high risk getting injured. The other thing is interfering in a match. So what you want to do is the person you want to interfere on is the person you're going to use. So for example, I have Roman Reigns versus Fandango. Now I'm going to use Samoa Joe to run in against Roman Reigns and build that rivalry up. That is basically how you do for building up rivalries. You can also do rivalries by just putting them on one-on-one matches, but in that case you do lose a lot of stamina in those matches, especially if you put special matches, or you can just put them in a normal one-on-one match and build it up from that for your undercard. Now the tricky part about my GM mode is what do you do after your first rivalry is done. Now you do have your other two superstars, which are the ones under your champ. That's the ones you want to build up their popularity, you want to build up their rivalry, and then once that one's done, you get ready to put them against the champ. So for example, Roman, I have Fandango ready after Samoa Joe, so Fandango is going to interfere on Roman. Now the key thing here is once a rivalry is on 4-4 for Roman and Samoa Joe, after that match is going to be over. Now what you want to do is put that rivalry in match number 1 at the pay-per-view. You always want to put in the pay-per-view your 4-level rivalry. So example, the first match on the card is going to be the championship on the line, Roman and Samoa Joe, and Fandango afterwards will be calling out Roman Reigns to start that feud already. So you want to be ready in advance. Unless Fandango has a match, and you just do it the next show, and then you continue that feud for the next pay-per-view. That's how you continue. Now, there's a lot of stuff to take in, like stamina. You don't always want to wrestle your champs during the weekly shows. For me, I usually put them in the main events or go-home shows. I put them in promos to keep them nice and safe and keep their stamina up, because championship matches do get the highest ratings. Now, speaking of our first show, well, the first show, exactly what you want to do is just start all the feuds. Again, if you don't know, the first and last match always has to be better than the middle match. If not, if the undercard, well, not the undercard, the second match, the middle one, if it is better than the two others, your ratings won't be as good as they are supposed to. So the end goal is always building up your feuds to level 3 or 4 for the pay-per-views. That's where you get the most bang for your money because there's more fans, you get bigger arenas, you get bigger bonuses, more people are watching. For the weekly shows, you want to always build up your stuff. Don't always put title matches. You can put some for some weeks to get those rating ups. But the main thing is to build up for the pay-per-views, especially WrestleMania. WrestleMania is pretty easy. All you want to do is just get prepared in advance, get all your feuds to level 3 or 4, especially 4 for the first and last match. And in there, you should be able to get legendary matches pretty easily. WrestleMania is the easiest one to get profit on. Put everything max on the show logistics, which we'll get into a bit later. Now, if you're running low on stamina, you got superstars getting injured, you got people's feuds ending, what you want to do is start signing other people. Now, what you can do is either sign lower people, like I did with this GM. I don't know if it'll be on screen or not. I signed a female named Fury. What you want to do is tag her in the middle match, tag her with someone who has a lot of popularity with the same, either she's heel or face. So if she's face, put her with her face, and put her against other classes that match with hers, and also put them as heels. In my case, I had her as a heel. I put her with someone else that has high popularity and against 2 baby faces, and her popularity went quite a bit up. She went really up towards the end, and if I had more weeks, I could have built her up to like a 90 popularity. I'm not even joking. So that is one cheaper way to do it. Also, you can do some legends. I wouldn't recommend signing too many legends because you still have a budget that you want to try and keep for WrestleMania. Now, in this one, I had a lot of struggle towards the end because I was used to doing 25 weeks, so I had more money and more time. Now, for WrestleMania, I didn't have a lot of money, so I had to build a smaller, I had to buy a smaller arena, I had to do all the minimum stuff to get through. I couldn't get Oscar, my champion, there. So that sucked, but I didn't get the win towards the end because they didn't have a lot of money either for 15 weeks. Next, the show logistics. This is one of the most important stuff. The main one you want to check is arena. You always want to put the best arena possible, even if you don't have the show quality bonus. Now, you want to always try and hit the show quality bonus. For example, I'm reading now on the advertising, I put the second one for, I'm on week 2. The cameo appearance of a campaign, you get a show quality bonus of 5% if I book with a 3 or better star power gain. That gets me 1 popularity. Excuse me. I book 1 superstar with 50 or more on promos. So there you go. That's what I do. You always want your show logistics to be as best as possible. You don't always want to hit them, but the main thing, you want to hit them always max on the pay-per-views. That's where you're going to get the most money, the most show quality. Because if you get the arena on the best one with the bonus, that means a lot of people are going to buy the tickets. People are going to enjoy the show. You're going to put on way better shows and get way more fans. So that is my thing to say. For the weekly shows, you want to try and hit some if you can from time to time. You don't always need to hit them, and it's still good to get a little bonus. Now, at the beginning, you will see your fans be dropping. It always happens to me, but I lose by like maybe 100k or less, and then I start to pop off during the pay-per-views because they always start off hot. And then they slow down, they don't have much money, they slow down with the popularity because you can't always put the top shows. They have people who have low stamina, so you always want to try and build for the pay-per-views. That is your main thing here. Pay-per-views is your main option. Now, there's a lot of stuff too. You also have the power cards. The power cards are very useful. Now, make sure to go check them every week after your show. The most important one is the veto card, the veto card, excuse me. The veto card makes the other person's best superstar not being able to go on the show. So, a little trick here is the week before WrestleMania, if you have a veto card, which will probably pop up in power cards or in your journal for a commission request, if you use that, they cannot use their best superstar at WrestleMania. That is huge. And if they go back at you and hit it, then fair. It's the same thing. You don't have your best, they don't have their best, which is probably their champ because they have the most popularity. So that is another trick I would recommend you doing. Look at your power cards all the time. It is going to be useful. I'm telling you. Also, injury rehab cards. This is a very, I don't see a lot of people talk about power cards. It's very underrated. I use them quite a bit, and I do save them towards WrestleMania. For example, I get a free advertisement for the week. I'd save it for WrestleMania because I would probably buy the biggest one, or for pay-per-view. And the injuries really help too, because your superstars get injured quite a lot. Now for the roster, you always start with around 10 to 12 superstars. You got your feuds going, you got your stamina. It's all nice and dandy at the beginning, but then their stamina goes lower. You want to bring some people up, sign some people, get them in feuds with the same classes, opposite babyface and heel. So build them up, build some feuds up. Then after they're done, you can do other feuds, yada yada yada. That is pretty much it for how you do those. Another little tip: if someone asks for a title shot, what I would do is put the title on and then go for interference so they don't win the title, so you get a win-win. If you want to keep your champ on, or you can have a power card to fix a match. But if you have example Shayna Baszler and against Asuka, and you don't want Shayna to win, then you run someone which she's in a feud with, or you want to start a feud to run in on her and then she doesn't win the championship. Sometimes it can happen, I don't know. Or you can also do a fixed match, so that is a win-win. Also, something that is a very underrated is in the promo section. Do some charity work. It costs 10k, but you gain 5k fans every time you do it. That's a huge bonus, man. That's a huge bonus. And again, do not ever do advertising. It is not worth risking fans just to get a few extra bucks. It is definitely not worth it at all. It's just pointless. So don't do that one. Now for the matches, this is probably the last thing I'm gonna go into. So these are the main tips I'm going to give you. So for classes, you always want to go for a fighter against a bruiser, and vice versa. A cruiserweight versus a giant, and then a specialist can go against anyone, but I would recommend doing the other two. Now you want sometimes to get more variety, so you can do giants, cruisers on the undercard, or a specialist versus, I don't know, a bruiser. Now you don't always want to do fighter versus bruiser every single card, which I do pretty much frequently, but hey, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So I would try and sign some like cruisers, giants, and specialists. Now you always want to face a baby face versus a heel, so green versus red, or in a tag team you do red versus green, and then try and match those classes together. For the match type, obviously Hell in a Cell is going to be the way better match. You get a bonus. It's going to be higher rated than normal matches, so of course that's the better one, but your stamina will go very much down, and it's not always guaranteed to be the best match. So there's also a lot of stuff to get to take into account. Next thing is obviously the popularity. The more popular your superstar is, the better match is going to be. And if you put in a Hell in a Cell, then that match will most likely be 4 stars or way higher, or 5 stars. And also, something that is very underrated is if you click on the superstars on the matches where you want to start them, they also have a little star rating. Now, people don't really keep into account on the little star. You see, the more it's filled, the better, most popular the superstar is, the better he is, the better people will want to watch. So, example, my Roman Reigns is like a 5-star in this. My Asuka is a 5-star, so they're gonna be the most precious people to put on the card. So yeah, guys, that is about it on this video. This is the most things I do in my GM during the season. If there's anything else you wanted to add, put it down in the comments down below. I'll gladly read it. And if I missed anything, put in the comments. I probably missed some stuff, but those are my key tips on how to book matches week to week. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and sub, turn on notice, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace to the out.